Hello and welcome back to the Trainers of the World Tournament. I'm your host DeltaTDS, and today I've got no co-host, which means I'm gonna have to be going all on my own. But you know what? That's fine. I've been alone for 23 years. What's another day? Anyway, we've got the Kalos gym leader Grant going up against the Galar gym leader Nessa. Two I believe second gym leaders of their respective region. Now, looking at this on paper, water beats rock. That's what the type chart wants us to believe. But Grant, has a lot of improvised Pokemon on his team. He's got a Mega Aerodactyl. He's got a Barbaracle with, I believe, a pretty good moveset. And then a Gigalith to just add to some flair on that team. Now Nessa, she's got that Gigantamax Dreadnought, as well as a really good wall Pokemon Toxapex, a good drought setup Pokemon Pelipper, and then just that behemoth Golisopod. Also, we got Quagsire with his great smile. We've got two unique teams. A lot of Pokemon we haven't seen yet. But I think this will be an interesting match. Now, I do apologize for the commentary if it's a little weird or whatever, because I don't have a friend here with me. You know what? It's just like life. The battle starts off, Nessa leading off with Quagsire, while Grant leads off with Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum, a very scary Pokemon. Very high attack. A pretty decent speed. But if it does have that Rockhead ability, which we won't find out yet because Aerodactyl comes in as Grant predicts that Earthquake and predicts it correctly. Quagsire's sitting here pondering what it's gonna do next. I love that little smile. Such a great smile. Aerodactyl not so much. But Aerodactyl Mega Evolves and goes for the Earthquake, dealing just under half while Quagsire almost takes out that Aerodactyl. That Aerodactyl is quite the glass cannon. It's very strong, very fast, but very fragile. Which you'd think it would be a little bit tougher with all those rocks spouting out, but I'm no mathematician or whatever it is, so who knows? Aerodactyl goes for the Stone Edge, not very effective, but that liquidation does take out that Aerodactyl. Nessa takes the first KO of the match. Now, what will Grant send out here? Honestly, doesn't have a lot of options. Sends out the Gigalith, which starts up that Sandstorm. Now, Nessa's got kind of one very obvious option. I wonder if Grant will predict it. Goes for the Earthquake, while Gigalith sets up that Stealth Rock. God, I'm tripping over my words here. Been quite the long day. Quagsire goes for a second Earthquake and takes out the Gigalith as the Sandstorm continues to rage on. Now, we don't know if it's got the, Smooth Rock to boost it to 3 more turns, but I'd imagine it does. Not that I've got a cheat sheet on all the teams here, but I'd imagine it does. Grant sends back out that Tyrantrum, going for the Dragon Dance, as it just barely lives that Earthquake, taking a little less than 3/4 damage. Goes for the Crunch and knocks out that Quagsire. Pelipper being sent out, changing that Sandstorm to Rain, getting rid of Tyrantrum's special defense buff, but it takes it out with a Rock Slide, as Nessa sends out the Barraskewda. Now this thing, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about it. I saw it in a pod like maybe 2 times, and that's about it. So I'm not entirely sure what this thing can do. But knowing that it's based off of a torpedo, it's probably fast. Maybe faster than that Tyrant, which is why it switches out to Aurorus and sets up the Hail, just living on 1% from Barraskewda's Grill Guard. Now, what are you going to do in this situation? I'd imagine you just sack off that Aurorus. But I'm sure Grant, well, will do exactly that, as it doesn't want any of its other Pokemon being knocked out. I do apologize for any vehicles you may hear starting up outside of the booth. I cannot control that. Now, Grant's taken quite a long time to figure out. He sends out the Barbaracle, which is a pretty good Pokemon, considering it resists that water, to where it only takes neutral damage. Now, what could this Barraskewda do to this Barbaracle? Dealing 54% with liquidation, as Barbaracle uses Rock Slide and it takes it out. It does take damage from Aurorus' Hail, which is unfortunate. Nessa sends out the Dreadnought, which Dynamaxes, and Barbaracle uses Shell Smash with the White Herb to get rid of those defense drops, but it unfortunately still goes down, making its efforts meaningless. Now this Dreadnought here is quite terrifying. It's got boosted special defense and 2 more turns of very powerful attacks. And coincidentally, Grant has 2 Pokemon now. One of them being Carby, a new addition to this tournament, as we have not seen it on a team yet. Now, just what can this Carving do? Take a Max Quake, that's for sure, as it sets up the Toxic on Dreadnought, and the Hail is stalled out. This Dreadnought has about 5 turns left before it falls to that Toxic. So if it wants to finish this battle itself, it's going to have to take these 2 out. Carbeak uses Protect to block that Max Quake, which is just enough to stall out that Gigantamax. It goes for the double Protect, but unfortunately does not make it, as it falls to Earthquake. Tyrantrum is sent out as the final Pokemon on Grant's team. Now, you gotta wonder, what can this thing do against 3 water types? Setting up the Dragon Dance would be very risky. So it goes for the crunch, but it still falls to that Earthquake. Meaning battle number 1 goes to Nessa. Now, there was a lot of things learned in that match. And I'm not remembering any of them. But I'm sure our contestants learned a lot about their opponent's team that match. I, for one, I don't learn a lot. I just watch and I commentate. Our 2 battlers are back on the field. This time in a forest. Something they are both weak to. Last game we saw Quagsire and Tyrantrum meet off. So will we see the same leadoffs? Probably not. Now that these two know more about each other's team. Grant sends out the Aurorus, setting up the Hail, while Nessa sends out Toxic. Yeah. Debut in this tournament as well. Specifically this match. Aurora sets up the Stealth Rods as Toxapex uses Scalds, trying to get just a little bit of damage on. Toxapex was buffeted by the Hail, but it was healed using its Black Sludge. Yeah, very good item for Poison type. Aurorus gets that Thunder Wave off, trying to take down that wall of a Pokemon, Toxapex. As Aurorus suffers the burn thanks to Toxapex's Skull. Not going to do much to its physical attack, but it will be whittling it down. Aurorus sets up the Aurora Veil. As Toxapex goes for another Skull. That Aurora Veil is going to definitely come in. God, I'm messing up my words. It's going to be very useful for the rest of Grant's team. As he switches out Aurorus for Tyrantrum. Now, he's probably betting on this thing being paralyzed. Most likely. Toxapex goes for the Baneful Bunker as Tyrantrum predicts that and sets up the Dragon Dance. Goes for a second Dragon Dance as it tanks that Skull, not doing anything to that Tyrantrum. Goes for the Baneful Bunker as it goes for a third Dragon Dance. Does Toxapex go for another Baneful Bunker? Because this Tyrantrum is terrifying to look at right now. She switches out to Pelipper as this thing goes for Psychic Fangs, just taking out that Pelipper. One hit. Barrascuda coming out to try and take this Tyrantrum out. Hopefully being faster than it. Though I can't imagine it will be. Unless it has Aqua Jet. Or any other priority move. It switches out, going out to Aurorus, who tanks that Drill Run. But Tyrantrum does lose its insane stat boosts. He was probably predicting a priority move on that. Or maybe thought it was faster. But that Aurorus is out and it's set up the final hail for this game. Now, Grant could come out to Gigalith and get rid of that hail for good. But he sends out Barbarical. Now, we saw last game that this thing has Shell Smash and White Earth. who I'm mixing up my words again. Raise its stats quite high again. And it does just that while taking that liquidation. But that hail does bring it under half, which is just in range for liquidation to KO. Now, if this Barbaracle is faster than the Bear Scuda and it uses Rock Slide to take it out, this hail really putting Barbaracle on a timer. As Quagsire comes out, not taking a whole lot of damage from that Stealth Rock. Barbaracle switches out for Carving as it takes that liquidation. Carving has quite the defense and special defense stat. Very high compared to the rest of its stats. So it taking that liquidation, not as surprising, but it does fall to a second one as it misses that Toxic. Just being a free KO, basically. KO has stopped, and means the only other weather condition that could happen is Gigalith, which comes out and sets up the Sandstorm. Now, this Sandstorm will be boosting all rock types special defense by, I believe, 50%. So Grantstein will certainly benefit from this. That is, if it can take out this physical Quagsire, which he unfortunately has not done yet. So unless he does that, he won't really be able to make use of that special defense buff. Aerodactyl coming out in Megavolp, going for the Earthquake, but just not taking out that Quagsire. Leaving it on 4% as it takes 3/4 damage. A second Earthquake does take out that Quagsire. Nessa sends out the Galissapod, which, one of my favorite Pokemon, honestly. Such a cool design. Just, you know, not the best ability, especially if you want to set up. Galissapod going for the first impression, dealing about half of a Tyrantrum health. Wanting that Mega Aerodactyl to fight another turn. Tyrantrum's Rock Slide almost taking out that Galissapod, but it does activate that emergency exit, which brings out Dreadnought. Now, the only thing we've seen from this was Max Quake. I don't believe we've seen the regular move that it has. But he brings out Aerodactyl again as he uses G-Max Stone Surge, which sets up a Stealth Rocks of her own on Grant's side. Now, it's not going to do much, but any chip damage is chip damage. Sandstorm has one turn left, and then it's no more weather effects for the rest of the game. Barbaracle comes out taking just a little bit of damage from those Stealth Rocks. Now, it doesn't have that White Herb anymore, so it won't be able to use Shell Smash. but it doesn't matter because Max Quake takes it out. He was able to get a defense drop on it though. Anything will help Grant at this point. Iron goes for the Psychic Fangs, but it's not enough to take out Dreadnought and falls to Max Quake. Meaning match number 11 goes to the Galar Gym Leader Nessa. Meaning she will be moving on to round 2 to face off against the Johto Gym Leader player. Another future Gym Leader face off. Join us tomorrow where we will be having quite the round 1 matchup of the Galar champion Leon going up against the boss trainer Benya from Black City and White Tree Hollow. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next match. Take care.